welcome to the first episode of the Brice Epps Show. Today I'm joined by Rob Harvey, the SID at Walther State, and we can just jump right into Walther State athletics. You know, the two basketball teams are on a dominant start to the season so far, both 4-0, and you look at the men's team last night, you know, they got out there, get a 31-point win, and you're like, man, that's a big win. And then you watch the game before that, the girls, they won by 104 points.
Yeah, I just want to point out that was not a typo in the graphic.
Yeah.
It was 104 points. People were walking in the gym looking up at the score like, what is going on? But it was, I mean, you were there for some, it was something. Like,
yeah.
It's hard to describe. I think that Roan State went from the 5-minute mark in the second quarter to the 3:57 mark of the fourth quarter without scoring a point. Walther State went on a 64-0 run.
Yeah, I've never heard of a run that big.
I haven't either. Unfortunately, our website only goes back about 10 years. So, but in that, it was the highest amount of points that Walther State has scored, and it was the highest margin of victory, obviously, and the least amount of points they've given up. It wasn't like it was pressing the whole game and doing all this. I mean, they could do whatever they want, whoever they put in the game. It was wild. I really have never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and you know, usually when you do, it's a high D1 team playing a lesser team, but in this case, it's two conference opponents. And
yeah. You know, you look like you mentioned. You look at the Lady Vols in their exhibition game; they won by 100 points. But It's like, okay, they were playing Columbus State. Like, that makes sense. No, these are two conference opponents. And I was telling you last night that we had gotten to see Roan play in our classic to start the season, and Shelton State beat them by about 80, and the coach called 3 timeouts in the first 90 seconds of the game and was making them do push-ups during the timeout. So he's something, there's something. It's kind of sad, but you know, obviously a good showing for Coach Coleman and her team. Tariana Griffin had 30 points. They're ranked 8th in the country. That's the highest they've been ranked since I've been here. And they beat number 2 Shelton State 2 weeks ago. So they're really off to a good start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a community college program that has been good. All sports, really. Baseball, you look at their national championships, their appearances there even, and just year in, year out, they're good. And so now to carry that over into other sports as well, I mean, I know cross country was also just at the nationals too. And so it's good to see a college like that, especially around here, that's on the uprise and having good teams year in, year out.
Yeah, you know, you kind of think of junior college and you're like, but like you said, I mean, the people that have come through the school, I mean, you've had a WNBA player, you've had 12 MLB players that have made MLB appearances last year with the Dodgers. 2 of them won a World Series. Like, you've had significant people that have gone on to do great things, and it's a great athletic program, and it's really off and running. And yeah, the women's basketball program has been successful throughout. One of the most successful women's basketball programs in JUCO. So, and it looks like it's going to continue this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like nowadays in the NIL and transfer portal era, it's a lot of these colleges, the D1 Power 5 college are looking more in the transfer portal instead of these young kids coming out of high school, which allows for these JUCO programs to get guys. I mean, like a Taquez Butler, who was Mr. Basketball in the state of Tennessee last year. So, I mean, you think Mr. Basketball, you got to go somewhere D1. It's D1 or bust. But in today's world, it's really not. I mean,
right. And he had D1 offers, but it was just do you want to sit on the bench and not play at an Arizona State or a California, or do you want to come to Walther State and be dominant? And you know, I think when NIL first got established, it was kind of like, oh, junior college is going to struggle with that. It's been the complete opposite, because people have come to junior college. I mean, you look at Jamar Livingston, who played at Walther State, went to Western Carolina, had some medical issues. But instead of just staying at Western Carolina and not making a ton of NIL, he's come back. He's off to a great start, and now we'll probably go to a even higher D1, and we'll make even more money. So that's kind of the trend we're seeing now, and junior college is thriving off of it.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, they've got all kinds of players that have went places. I mean, you just look at last year's team, Carter Metz, who was a good point guard, and now he's at Southern Arkansas. Aiden Goins at Bowling Green. So they're producing. Also, Charvez Ambrose, who's at MTSU. So
Right.
they're producing players that have the ability to go there, and like you said, you go there straight off the bat where maybe you don't play, and now you go here instead, and you're getting college level experience, which gives you just a better chance to go to those places that you always wanted to go and play.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at someone in the local communities, and that Micah
Yeah.
Simpson has done that. You know, he was obviously going to go play football, transferred back, was then going to go to Tusculum, and Coach Nichols came in and was like, "Hey, you should come back. We'll get you to an even better spot." And obviously that happened. It's in Alabama State now, and you know, through a game-winning pass to win an NCAA tournament game. So that's just another story of somebody who benefited off of the JUCO level.
Yeah, for sure. And even we can, like, on a not just Walter State, but I mean, you look at a Dalton Connect from Tennessee. Right. He was JUCO, and then later on down the road, he finds himself at Tennessee and is in the national limelight of all basketball. I mean, you've got LeBron James talking about him in his post-game interviews before he gets drafted to the Lakers to play with LeBron. So it's all just just kind of another stepping stone in the process. Now it's just essentially an extension of high school into college, to where you only get 2 years, so you're not going to burn up all your eligibility if you do choose to go to a JUCO.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just like I said, it just really, people have benefited off of it, and I think this year's team, for both the men and women, you'll see that once again. The men's team, a bunch of guys are already getting a lot of D1 offers because they're off to such a great start. Not even to the season, but they went to a jamboree before the year and beat Chipola and Donnie Tyndall, who coaches Chipola, by 20 points, and then beat another school from Mississippi by 20 at this huge jamboree that got a lot of attention. And then on the women's side, Tariana Griffin's already getting a lot of offers and things like that. So I think you'll see it continue this year.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, like you said, they've got athletes on their teams. We saw it last night. I mean,
it's a lot of running and gunning, shooting a lot of threes, full court press the whole game, and a lot of sensational dunks, including dunking on your own teammate.
Yeah.
Which Damori Litch did last night, the Portrait Rideau.
Yeah, I've got that clip. I'll put it in here after that. I mean, that was just, I don't think I've ever seen that either.
No,
off the backboard lob, and
yeah,
you catch it on top of your own teammate. So
poor Trey, he thought he was going to get it too, because Trey's 5'10", but he can get up and dunk. He's dunked on people already this year, but he unfortunately got dunked on.
Yeah.
And then, just to cap off the night, we have a full court putt hit
I know.
for $500.
Yeah.
That was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, how many second chances do you think people will get the rest of the year after that?
I think zero.
I think so too.
George Illick has ruined that for everyone after his demanding for a second chance. You know, but that was wild too.
It was college game day-esque of Pat McAfee giving a second kick, but just not for
Herb Street begging him to give a second kick, and then he loses his money. Yeah.
Yeah. No, those games are fun. I mean, free to get into. Pull up to some if you're watching, and you'll see some good basketball. But more good basketball. The Vols have found their way, and after a Duke game and the first game of the year, where they kind of didn't look like they were in a rhythm, and over the last couple of games they've gotten there, and they've found a way to play as a team.
Yeah, last night it seemed more like it was North Florida just shooting the lights out to start, and then Tennessee taking over. I think the biggest takeaway for me is Jacoby Gillespie just getting more comfortable.
Yeah.
I kind of worried about him. He's not really, I mean, you saw him in high school, played against him in high school. He's not really I wouldn't say he's a true point guard. He's more when he's in space. That's where he does his most damage. But you've got to be a pretty perfect point guard to play for Rick Barnes' team. But I felt like last night he really got the hang of it a little bit more. He had 7 assists and shot the ball well. But JP Estrella has been the biggest. I don't know if surprise is the right word, but he's just been really solid. And they talked about it last year, how good he could be. Unfortunately, that his injury happened, but now you're really seeing how good he is.
Yeah, and like you said, it kind of was a surprise, but not really, because like you said, they talked about him highly, but he gets hurt, and so then there's the aspect of, is he going to come back maybe as good as they thought he was? And we haven't really seen a whole lot from him aside from his true freshman year. So, yeah, he's been great. I thought he's been really solid all around. 23 points, 10 assists last night. Each game he's had a career high. So he's been getting better over this course of the season. And I think really the team has. You look at the Mercer game, 19 turnovers, and Rick Barnes was not happy about that, and nor should he have been. But they've really picked that up over the last couple of games.
Yeah, it's been a lot cleaner and getting a lot more open shots and knocking down those open shots. Against Duke, they got a lot of open shots and they just couldn't hit it. And I felt like Mercer was the same way, but they're not as sloppy. I think that first game, especially after playing Duke, it can kind of be like we're playing Mercer, and they got a little sloppy and lazy. It just looked lazy, but now they're really working into it, and it seems very smooth and more in a rhythm now. That play that's been all over social media where they got the block by Mint, and then the save off over to Abrams, and he threw it up to Cade Phillips for an alley-oop. That looked like that play last year that Tennessee had against Florida where Meshack saved it to Boswell over to Cade. So they're kind of looking more and more like a Tennessee basketball team now.
Yeah, and Nate Mint comes in and he's highly touted, and he goes out in the Duke game. They're watching it, and he shot 5 for 19, I think, and it's like, oh man, But he's a 5-star. He's a freshman though, so he's gonna have those growing pains coming in against a Duke team like that. But also had no assists, which worried me a little bit. But these last few games, he's had 5, 6, 7 assists. So him finding a way to create shots for other people as well as get into his game is going to be big.
Yeah, and it just seems like he's so much more comfortable. They're not. At first, it seemed like they're just forcing him the ball to get him comfortable, but now he's just in a groove. I think Grant Ramey said on Twitter he's the guy that he almost has a triple-double every night, but you just don't even realize it because that's how smooth he plays and that's how easy it is for him. And just watching him play, you're like, oh man, he's got 19 and 8, and so I worry a little bit just because of his size, how it's going to be at SEC play. I think they're going to try and beat him up a little bit, which is what Mercer was doing pretty effectively. But if you get a good officiating crew, maybe that won't happen if you don't get a Don Daly or somebody like that.
And well, I think with the amount of bigs that Tennessee has this year, you have a surplus more than you really ever have. That's what they've always struggled with. To me, I mean, they've had Kyle Alexander's and John Fulkerson's, but none of them were ever like true big men with a huge presence. And so now you've got Felix Okpara, JP Estrella, Dwayne Brown, Jalen Carey, all those guys. I think it opens the floor for Nate Mint to play around the perimeter as well. And when he's there, 6'10" on the perimeter, that creates a mismatch.
Yeah, it's the first time in a Rick Barnes team at Tennessee where they're playing post first, which it opens up the guards as well. But I'm interested to see if Jalen Carey will buy in a little more. It seems like he's fallen more and more out of Rick Barnes' favor, and Dwayne Brown's been excellent. So it's not like you're really missing much if Jalen's not out there. But if he locks in and plays the way that he played against Tennessee last year, that's just another piece and another weapon that could really dominate.
Yeah, and I think that's probably part of the reason that Rick Barnes went out and got Jalen Carey is because last year when JP Estrella did get hurt, we were kind of out of luck. We had Felix Okpara, and that was about it. So I think he overstocked on big men this year just in case. And even then, you've got a Dwayne Brown and JP Estrella for a couple more years too. So I think having those big men will be big just because of the presence that they give and allow your guards to play around them.
Yeah, I wish he had gotten another 2-guard instead of maybe another post player. But no, I mean, they have so many, like you said, so many post players that can do different things. That's the big thing. JP can shoot threes. Jalen Carey's strong down low. Felix rebounds like crazy. Dwayne Brown finishes great, and so does Cade Phillips. I mean, they just all do different things so well that just makes it, if you need a bucket or if you need something, which guy can come in and get it done.
Yeah, and like you said, another 2-guard would be nice. I can think of one that we probably could have that packed his stuff up in the middle of the night and made a trip to Waco.
Yeah, and he's doing quite well, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, but you know, you don't play defense and you don't want to play defense. You're not going to thrive on a Rick Barnes team.
I do wonder what this team would be like if a Jordan Gainey was on this team. I feel like if he was on this team, that lineup would be the best starting lineup in college basketball.
Yeah, I think so too. He was really good as a second option. Really, I mean, he came off the bench 2 years ago, and then last year he did really well, thriving. You know, when you have Zakai at the 1, it's pretty hard not to thrive at the 2. But I was listening to the post game show with Rick Barnes last night, and he was talking about Ethan Berg, who's not been over here long, and he's adjusting to this kind of basketball. It's something that he's never really been around before. So he's looked good to me, better than I had thought he was. So maybe he can kind of get in his rhythm and get really comfortable and become that good 2 guard.
Yeah, and Amari Abrams was a lot better last night too. I thought he had a good game. Ethan Berg, the part that's weird to me is his shot is so slow, but he rarely gets it blocked, and it goes in most of the time. Yeah, you can tell especially when he's got space and when he's in transition, that he's played some pro ball before, because it looks different. And I think if he can really buy into Barnes' system and learn it a little bit more, he'll be the permanent starting 2 guard over Bishop Boswell and can really make a difference.
Yeah, and Ethan Berg's shot is almost Lonzo Ball-esque. It is. It's across the chest, and but yeah, Amari Abrams, he's looked really good, play style and
looks like from the 1970s.
Yeah, I know. I was joking about that with Kyle Cloninger, who's a Duke fan. We went to the Tennessee Duke game, and so Amari Abrams, he looked like he's raided the accessory closet before the game, and each game he's came out in something different. Yesterday it was a one-sided short sleeve baggy undershirt. So I mean,
he's bought a lot of accessories in 2K, I guess.
Yeah. Spent a lot of all that NIL money on VC. We talked about Jacoby Gillespie. He's not the only former East Tennessee high school athlete that's been hooping lately. Like we talked about Micah Simpson, 6 threes and 18 points and 3 assists in a big win at UAB.
Yeah, they were a big underdog in that game and really just lit it up. Micah hit 4 threes in the first half.
Yeah.
And was really good. That's the smoothest his shots looked. I think a starting role for him has been great. I'm glad he came back to Alabama State. He went in the portal for a little bit, but then felt like Alabama State was the place for him, and I'm glad he did, because I think he can really thrive in that offense. But he's been great, and what a story. Going to college to play football, and then you end up being a national superstar last year, and looks like he's going to carry it over this year. Yeah,
and with this new JUCO rule that your JUCO eligibility doesn't count, I mean, you'd think he's
going to be Diego Pavia.
Yeah, 2 more years of eligibility, so he has a good year this year, and if he wants to stay at Alabama State, great, it's a place for him. But with that experience, 4 years of college basketball, that's something coaches look for, I feel like, nowadays. So maybe to go somewhere higher up and be a good guard off the bench.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's definitely there. He's gotten a lot stronger. That was always the big thing for him. He has length. His wingspan is ridiculous for someone his size. Like I always couldn't believe, like, when he would stand straight, his fingers went all the way like below his knees. Like, ridiculous, but now he's added the strength to it, and so he could go to a Power 5 and be a 6-man and really thrive.
Yeah, and another one from around here, Alcoa, Javon Carter, he had 18 points as well in Middle Tennessee's win over Evansville last night.
Yeah, I don't think that's really a surprise to anyone around here. If you ever watched him play a high school basketball game, you knew exactly who he was the second he stepped on the court. It was kind of like Jacoby Gillespie, just a phenomenal player. Now he's off to a great start, and one of their exhibition games, I think he had 20-something points as well. So he's done great. And did he win 2 state titles?
Yep, back to back.
Back to back at Alcoa. Yeah, that's pretty stout.
Yeah, I mean he pretty much ended his season every year on the MTSU court, so it's fitting that
he's used to it.
Yeah. But yeah, he was really good in high school. Him and Jacoby were probably the 2 best I ever played against in high school. I mean,
Yeah, I remember those Alcoa games that were always early in the season. They'd be
Yeah.
like 100 and something to 90 when y'all would play them. It'd just be up and down the whole time.
Yeah, I was actually looking at my senior year and Jobin's senior year when we played. I think the score was, it was something like that. It was 90 something
Yeah.
to 80 something. Jobin had 28, and so it's
It was always fun when the Collins brothers went against each other, and then I guess your senior year when Brice went up against Ryan, those were always good matchups.
yeah. And this year it's both Collins brothers on the same coaching staff back at East Hyde for the first game of the year this year. So I'm excited to see how that one will go. I mean, Alcoa probably going to win in football this week, so they'll still be in the.
No.
I think they're wanting a revenge tour against Anderson.
Yeah, I was about to say who's the victim this weekend. I feel bad for him. If you listen to WCRK on our pregame show last week, we had a moment of silence for Cherokee because of what Alcoa was going to do to him.
Yeah.
I actually don't think it was as bad as I expected it to be. But no, yeah. So East might have a better chance of some of those football guys. I don't know then. They never usually had a lot of football guys play on the basketball team.
No, but
didn't feel like
they do have Jameer Dean, who was a freshman my senior year. I actually thought he looked better than Jobin. He had 30 in the state championship game, and he plays football, so Alcoa wins.
Yeah, that could be that's
you
30.
Don't have to. Yeah,
that's at least 30 points right there.
I know.
You talking about the best high school player you played against? It made me think about when I was in high school some millions of years ago, and who the best player I saw was, and I think I'd have to go. My senior year, Brentwood had a freshman point guard, a little kid named Darius Garland. He was okay.
Yeah.
I think he scored like 45 as a freshman in the state championship game.
Yeah,
So,
I wonder where he ended up.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of lost contact with his career. It definitely not in Cleveland dominating against the Cavaliers point guard.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, nobody I've played against has made it to the NBA yet. Like I said, Jacoby, Tennessee, and then Jobin at MTSU, and then we played against Raquise Passmore from AC Reynolds. He was at Kansas last year. But a lot of players ended up at Walter State, Malachi Hale and Carter Metz. But the recent years, basketball around here has been really good.
It has, and I mean, your teammate, somebody you mentioned earlier, Kyle Cloninger's been very good at Maryville. Won freshman of the year last year in the conference.
Yeah,
has been great. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good time in East Tennessee for boys basketball. That's for sure.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
In other college basketball, Louisville, Kentucky. I always love to see Kentucky lose.
It brings a tear to my eye every time it happens.
Yeah, I cannot stand Kentucky. Although Trent Noah, AAU teammate, but
I forgot about that. You got to have some sort of a little bit of cheering for him, maybe.
I hope he maybe gets to double figures every game, but I hope they still lose. But I mean, Louisville looked really good, and that's the team Tennessee has to play in a couple.
It seems like teams are adapting the Alabama style of play, very little defense and shooting a ton of threes. And I mean, it's worked well for Alabama, so I guess that's why teams are doing it. But that game, I felt my neck was hurting after it because they were just up and down the court so much. But yeah, Louisville looked really good. They surprised me. It made that game in Knoxville in a few weeks or in a month a whole lot scarier. I'm glad it's in Knoxville. Tennessee lucked out by getting Louisville when they weren't good yet last year, and now when they are good, they get them at home. So, but no, I wouldn't say Kentucky played bad. The Aberdeen kid was pretty good. No way did what he needed to do. They just didn't get a lot down low. And Louisville seemed like they got every single offensive rebound. It led to somebody wide open for three.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you look at the turnaround Louisville's had. I mean, they were horrible a couple years ago. I mean,
did they win a conference game that year?
I don't know.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Brandon Huntley Hatfield.
Yeah. Brandon Huntley Hatfield. Grass is not always greener, but I mean, yeah, they were really bad a couple years ago, and last year you could tell they were kind of on the uprising, and then this year they've been really good. And the 1-2 punch of Mikael Brown Jr. and Ryan Conwell, 29 points and 24 points. When you've got two guys with those kind of stat lines, it's going to be hard to win.
And I mean, they can make any shot past half court, and that doesn't even include Liam McNeely, who comes from Virginia and was awesome at Virginia, and now is at Louisville and doing well there. I mean, if he gets going, he had a little bit of a slow game, but if he gets going, then they've got a three-headed monster, and they're hard to stop. But Mikael Brown was great when they thought he got hurt there for a second, and I was like, oh no, but he was great all game long. I will give Kentucky credit. I mean, they were down 20 with 10 minutes to go in that game and came all the way back and made it a 4-point game. It helped that Louisville missed 8 straight free throws.
Yeah.
But people were talking about the betting line in that one, thinking it was a little suspicious. They were missing 8 straight free throws, but no, it was a good game, and those are two teams that I think will probably be pretty deep into March.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to feel bad for Kentucky. Well, not really.
Not really, no.
Just kidding. But, I mean, rumors of Mark Pope having jury duty for the game and not being there.
That Twitter account is crazy. I'll say my own mother got caught by that Twitter account on the tweet of Chad Baker Mazzaro getting suspended for getting into a physical altercation with Eric Musselman, which honestly, if you think about it, that could have happened. It could have happened. But yeah, that I can't think. It's Sean something on Twitter, and he's been hilarious. I think Mark Pope actually did have jury duty, right?
Yeah.
But he just had to call in. But that account said he was going to miss the game, and people ran with it and believed it.
Yeah, I mean those accounts, I love them. NBA Centel and
Number 3 Sports.
Yeah,
That's,
3, yeah.
I just one of my buddies actually just got caught by that one, thinking that Lenore Sellers was sitting out the rest of the year so he could transfer. It was 274 Sports that did it.
Yeah, and then you got Richard G. West.
Richard? No, I think Richard's a legit insider.
Yeah, well, there's rumors circulating of NBA Centel being Woj because he's gotten I think his motto is never wrong, just early. Because
so what you're saying is Richard G. West is Austin Price.
He could be.
Or Brent Hubbs. He's Brent Hubbs.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I think we've cracked the code.
You heard it here first.
I mean, Centel, they broke Nico Collins getting fired a couple weeks ago. So
the people the way Centel has blown up is the funniest thing. Like all the players actually knowing what Centel is and that you got Centelled is hysterical. I get Centelled all the time.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean it's so close to NBA Central. Like I can't tell. Yeah. I can never tell.
And then they've thrown in there. They've been breaking some real news too. So you don't know what to believe.
Right.
And even some of the NBA Central headlines
are so far-fetched that you're like, there's no way this is true, but they are.
It's like the one, I can't believe it's not Centel.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Other college basketball, I mean, Gonzaga, they looked really good. And I was talking with my buddy the other night. I can't stand Gonzaga because they have no business being good at basketball. So.
They just looking at the box score, that's for an old man like me. It's way past my bedtime to watch that game. But they just look like they have so many guys. I mean, he played like 14 guys, and half of them were in double digits. And it just seems like they're Gonzaga of like they are every single year. You know, Mark Few's always going to have a great squad, and they beat Oklahoma earlier this year as well. Beat them really bad, and so now they've already got 2 good wins. Although Oklahoma's who knows about them? Porter Moser is struggling there, but no, I mean, it's not a Mark Few team if they're not competing in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8.
Yeah, and I mean, normally you'd look at their conference and be like, oh, they play Pepperdine and San Francisco, but Pac-12 breakup, now you're adding in those Washington States and Oregon States.
And St. Mary's is always good.
Yeah, St. Mary's is good too, and the most confusing thing ever was watching the Oregon State game the other night, and they got the WCC in the paint and the Pac-12 in the three-point line. So
they're just confused.
Yeah, this is Pac-12 is hanging on by a thread, I think.
I don't even know if it's a thread. It's it's like this much.
Yeah, but I mean, Creighton's a good team, but Gonzaga just looked really good. They had 4 players in double digits, and Graham Ike led them with 20. So they've got guys, and a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean they always do.
Yeah.
So no surprise. I just wish they would play before 10:30 so that I could actually enjoy watching them play.
Yeah, that is very true. It's all the West Coast teams, and
the only West Coast team I'll stay up to watch is to hate watch Nico. That's the only time I'll stay up to watch a West Coast team.
That's very, very fair. I did that a couple times early in the season. And
it's fun stuff.
It is very fun stuff. Hate watching is one of my favorite things.
It can't be beaten. It was like Tuesday night in the Kentucky game.
Yeah.
Hate watching Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't even like Louisville that much, but hate watching Kentucky. It can't be beaten.
Yeah, I was at work hate watching Kentucky on my phone, and
what could be better?
What could be better? And now I'm fired up and 8 years into a online dynasty on college football, Louisville Cardinals head coach. So added
you felt like you had some
Kentucky.
allegiance to it. Yeah, there you go. Have you beaten Kentucky every single time?
Every single year. So
there you go.
I mean, and how can you not want to watch a Louisville game? They've probably got the best court in all of college basketball.
By far. That logo, I was talking about it with my buddy who I was watching the game with. That logo is, I usually don't like huge logos at center court. That logo is awesome.
It's great. I mean, the throwback, and they do it with all their stuff too. They got the bird with the football and their helmets and stuff, and
they might have the best mascot or best mascot logo.
Yeah, it's close with Western Kentucky's big red helmets.
Yeah.
The position specific ones.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of hate watching, Alabama.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of hate watching to go because they looked really, really good. Fight line was awesome. Aiden Holloway's scary.
Yeah.
He's scary good. And then, they got post presence too.
They do. They're really good, and I hate it because, I love Tennessee, so Alabama, them being good in basketball now, it's like, come on, really?
They have it all. What was it? Some Indiana fan tweeted like they can't even imagine this in the South, and it was that they won a football game and a basketball game, and it was like Alabama literally beat LSU and St. John's this week. I think they can experience it.
Yeah, but I mean, tonight, this will come out after this, but the ultimate hate watch, Alabama Purdue.
Yeah, I know. My brain is in a pretzel.
No, yeah.
I'm just glad that there's not a 7-8 giant out there for Purdue, although I saw they got a 7-4 guy committed the other day.
Yeah.
It never ends.
No, it never ends.
It never ends.
I saw a thing on Twitter. It said, I'm convinced Purdue just has somebody that they send out across the world to villages like, hey, have you heard of the giant that's...
And if they say yes, they say, lead me to
Yeah, here's your NIL package and here's your scholarship offer. We'll see you in Indiana next week.
They just go to the airport and find the first tall person. They're like, all right, come on. I thought it was going to be Trey Thompson, Greenville's own Trey Thompson after how many times Matt Painter came to watch him play. But, he's at Iowa now.
Yeah, I've heard that he's kind of struggling up there. But
yeah, I saw he hadn't been playing. So I was kind of surprised he reclassified.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get to, reclassing, and you go up, you're there a year early, and Greenville, I mean, I'm not throwing any shade, but they don't have the greatest competition. I mean, so when you're playing against that competition in high school and then you make that abrupt jump straight to Division I basketball, it's going to be tough.
You mean they're not playing a Granger County type team in Iowa?
Yeah.
I don't know. There could be some like Minnesota.
Yeah.
That could be pretty comparable.
Yeah, that could be.
No hate to Granger.
No hate to Granger County, but. Here with Morristown East boys basketball coach Brice Cusick. Coach, coming off of last year, it's in a similar situation with not a lot of seniors. You only have one this year in Jackson Archer. Just kind of talk about the different personnel this year that you didn't have last year.
Yeah. I'd got to say it's almost the same, similar personnel. We had a lot of juniors or sophomores last year, now juniors that got a lot of minutes. We lost 4 seniors last year, and we're coming back this year with Jackson Archer as our lone senior. So we got a lot of juniors who are going to play. We have some sophomores that's going to play heavy minutes. So I think personnel-wise, it's a little bit the same. got some size, very guard-oriented, guard-heavy. So it's almost the same personnel, I like to say, but it's different. It's kind of hard to explain that, but yeah.
Yeah, and you talk about the heavy guard play, which is kind of something that East has been known for. You kind of go back a couple years to when I was here, we didn't really have a true big man, really. And so now you've got a couple with Chance Stokely and Jameer Collins. And so now you kind of have that balance, but you're still heavy in the guard aspect, but you do have those two big men that you can play through as well.
Yeah. We, like I said, guard heavy, but like you said, we got Shamir, Chance, and we got another kid that's about 6'4", 6'5", Braylon Redmond this year. Hopefully we get them rolling in the post. And then we got like DeMarcus Cortez, kind of similar to your size, your stature, playing the post, but plays his tail off. Can play out there on the perimeter, but really is a go-getter for us on the defensive side and rebounding. But like I said, guard-oriented, it's been a thing here at East since I've been here, even going back to the Braden Illick days. It's just, I think it's the way the game's going nowadays. Now, unless you have a clear matchup, mismatch in the post, it's a lot of guard-heavy play around this area. So I think that's just the way the game's evolving. Yeah,
and last year around this time I talked to you, and one thing you said is that you have to define success differently going in to each year. Being in a similar spot this year as you were last year, do you still define success the same as you did last year, or is it a little bit different this year?
I think it's a step up from last year. Last year was a couple times maybe successful, but a lot of times we were not successful. So we're looking to step that up a little bit this year, but you don't want to, like, everybody in the world wants to make the state tournament. Everybody wants to be district champs. Not to say that's not possible, but you don't want to set these kids up, man, we don't make state tournament, we're terrible. And that's not the case. It can't be the case for everybody. There can only be one champion. There can only be one region champion. So we're looking to compete every single game. We're looking to give it our all every single game and really, really focus on developing and competing every single game and being there in the end. And I think that's just a little step up from last year.
Yeah, and so far this offseason, coming off of last season where, you know, like you said, sometimes we're successful, but a lot of times it wasn't what you were looking for. What has been the emphasis this offseason and in practice leading up to this season?
Getting over ourselves a little bit and just being team-oriented, being there for each other, holding each other accountable, not taking it personal when a teammate gets into you. Because I think that teammate, say, if it's done the right way, they're wanting us as a team to get better, and that's what I want from these group. I want it from every single team that we have. Not to say last year's teams wasn't, but I just want to make sure we're better in that area this year moving forward. Because if you're together, you can accomplish a whole lot more than if you're being individuals.
Yeah, and like you said, being together rather than just being a bunch of individuals on a team, that's what creates good teams. So, like, how would you describe the chemistry so far this season? And
I think chemistry's been good. We're about a week and a half into practice. I think every day we've gotten better. We scrimmaged once, good outing there, a lot to work on. But I think our chemistry is good because I think I want to go back. It's not talent-wise. We're not like your senior group, I don't think. Not yet. But I think that junior class, they're so heavy, and you got Jackson Archer that play with that junior class in travel ball, middle school. So you get a lot of kids that's played together for a long time. Like your group, I think. Not to compare, but I really do think their team unity, their team chemistry is up there this year.
Yeah, and like you said, being young and having those older guys, even the juniors, kind of teaching the sophomores too, you get those years of development that kind of not takes the weight off of your shoulders, but adds to what you're doing with them as far as development wise. So it's those guys who have been in the program, know the culture, that can kind of lead by example to those guys.
Yeah, like I said, I think Jackson Archer, as our lone senior, does a good job of that. And then your juniors that played a lot last year know kind of what to expect at the varsity level this year. They've been in those situations. They know that varsity's 10 times different than JV and freshman. It's just a quicker game. So yeah, the sophomores that's going to play this year, they're going to have to lean on those upperclassmen, whether they like it or not. And that goes back to my point, getting over yourselves. Know that as a player, as a teenage kid, as a young man, you don't know everything. There's always somebody that knows more than you, and that goes into coaching as well. So I think we're in our right spot right now.
Yeah, and like you said, you have a lot of those freshmen that are now transitioning to varsity ball, and having some people who don't have a whole lot of experience over this offseason. What have you learned about your team that maybe you were unsure of before?
To go back on it, team chemistry, I wasn't sure on it. And then first couple of weeks, and also in the summer, I thought we had a really good summer this year. We were together. I thought they were kind of for each other a lot of the times. And there's some times where the teenage boys and young basketball players, they get those personal agendas. They were like, I will score this, and that's just the name of the game. And then also, I think coachability-wise, I think I got a lot of coachable kids in the program right now, and have. So I think they're willing to learn. They're eager to learn, and it kind of shows every day in practice because I think they're getting after it right now.
Yeah, coachability is definitely a big part, especially at this level in the game. You know, you have to want to be better and open to learning, and with all those coachable kids. From your time as a player up until coaching at Jeff Middle, and then to the assistant here, and then now the head coach, how do you feel as a coach you've developed over the years, and what has changed for you?
It's a perfect saying, and I want to say I realized it, but I don't know if I did. But it's a saying: if you're not humble, you're going to get humbled. We had my first year coaching at Jeff Middle. Decent. I thought we had a great year, middle of the pack, competed, finished third in the conference, and then next 2 years just brutal outings. And then last year, as coming off a state tournament with a really good senior class coming in last year, took some licks. So you always got to be able to adapt. You always got to be willing to learn and just continue to grow as a coach. Because you don't know everything, and that's what I'm realizing in my young varsity high school coach career. You can always be better in aspects, and that kind of goes along with players too. Like I'm trying as a coach, you're trying to get these players to realize that's the same case for you all. Yes, you've made varsity, but you're a sophomore, you're a junior. You need to be able to adapt, learn, continue to learn because you haven't made it yet. Okay, because everybody wants to go play ball at the next level, but if you have that mindset of I've already made it, then you're probably not going to make it. So that's what I've learned.
Yeah, definitely. You look at that aspect of it. Now to kind of a more like a fun side, coming from like players, we usually had a pregame ritual of some sort. Did you have one when you played, and then? If you did you carry it over to coaching, or has it changed?
No, I usually I kind of hung out with some buddies in the locker room or in the game watching the girls' game before us. But I always had my headphones on, listening to some music. I always had some type of music, the flavor of the month, I guess. A lot of Kid Cudi, a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap. That was kind of my ritual, just getting the mindset, being out there to play, and then going out there to perform. Not always did it happen, but I was a listen to music kind of guy. Then once everybody kind of got done with their individual rituals, routines, whatever you want to call it, we kind of got hype with in locker room music. So that's kind of what I did.
Yeah,
and I don't do that in the coach's office.
No,
I'm trying to prep and get ready for the game.
No big speaker in here, and
no, I'm not blaring out.
Yeah. And then last thing, first game of the year, Alcoa, which has become an annual matchup pretty much the last 4 years. I thought of it and gonna try to start an agenda. This is the natural disaster matchup: hurricanes, tornadoes.
Yeah, that's good.
So this time it's going to be a little bit different than it ever has. You have two former East coaches on that coaching staff now coming back in. Just kind of talk about that matchup with Alcoa and what you expect to see from your team,
Yeah.
and also what you expect to see from Alcoa coming out. Hopefully they're still in the playoffs in football. So,
first off, the Collins brothers up there, they do a great job. I came in with Alden. Alden hired me over here, and I'll be forever grateful for that because I love it here. They both do a good job. I've learned a lot from Alden, and I never coached under Ryan, but I learned so much from Ryan watching his team's films. Great coach, holds them to the high standard, and you see it every year in, year out. They're in Murfreesboro competing for a state title. What I expect from our team next Tuesday is just go out there and execute and play fast and be hard nosed and adapt to whatever the game may come. Adversity, highs, lows. I've been preaching about emotions. Don't let emotions take you out of the game. So if we're up big, if we're up, don't let emotions take you out of the game because you'll fall right back down into the game. Or if you're down big, don't let emotions get you out of the game because you can fight your way back. But I just expect them to execute to the best of their ability what we've been working on, hard-nosed and playing fast. Then I expect Alcoa to come in with or without their football players to be well-coached, executing everything because I think they run a lot of good stuff and they run a lot of the same stuff every year. So I think they know what they're doing, even if they haven't been practicing or they haven't done anything since the summer, which I know they've been working out and doing some individual workouts. So I just expect it to be a good matchup. Last 2 years, it's been really good matchups. I just look for it to be a fun matchup and then get good to see Ryan and Alden over there.
Yeah, and like you said, they're year in, year out competing for state championships. They've won 2 of the last 3, and last year they finished runner-up. So they're consistently very good and competing at the highest level.
Yeah.
They have good players too. It's they have Javin Carter a couple years ago, and now Jameer Dean, who had. I know the year that we went to the state tournament and watched them in the state championship game, I think Jameer Dean had like 30-something points and kind of outshined Javin, who was Mr. Basketball. So it's crazy to see the amount of talent that they put out every year.
Yeah, and like you said, and they also have the Cherry Kid up there. It can be anybody. When they're fully loaded, it could be anybody that takes over for that Alcoa team. With or without that football players, they're a really good team. You have people say, well, you beat them without the football players. They're still a good team. Or you competed with them. You played with them real close last year, but they're still a good team. Like I said, because they're well coached, the program over there is really well ran. And as a school, Alcoa is just a powerhouse and everything. So it's just a testament to those coaches over there and Ryan.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Coach, and good luck. And I'll see you next week.
All right. Appreciate it. Go Canes.
Here with Morristown East girls basketball coach Justin Combs in their brand new locker room. How are you liking it so far?
Man, it's awesome. It's been a long time coming, and it just feels good to for the girls to have their own space and have a little bit of room to spread out and kind of meet. And still got a few things left to do in here, but the girls are very pleased with it so far, and so am I.
Yeah. So coming into the season, it's kind of in a opposite position as the boys team. You've got 5 or so seniors that have gotten a lot of experience under their belt. How have those seniors on this team kind of helped develop the younger talent coming up?
I think they bring a lot of leadership. Like you said, they're veteran kids who've played a ton since they were freshmen, and have kind of stepped into that leadership role that our senior class last year vacated when they graduated. And as good as we were last year, and we lost a lot of playing time, a lot of court experience, and a lot of points from those girls that graduated. This year's senior group has kind of moved into that role, and they're doing a great job of leading every day and kind of bringing in the young kids and the new additions to our program. Kind of bringing them along and bringing them into the fold, kind of showing them the ropes, and how we do things in our program.
Yeah, and you talk about the new additions, the young players. There have been 2 freshmen here this year that have been spoken very highly of that I've heard a lot about. How do you feel that they will impact this team coming in? year one, and what do you kind of expect from them?
Well, Molly and Kennedy have done a great job of coming in, and you know, a lot of pressure sometimes when you step in as a freshman and you're kind of thrust into starting role right away. And both those kids are high-level kids that have worked really hard on their game throughout the years and played a ton of basketball. So they bring a lot of, you know, court experience and court IQ. But obviously stepping into the high school game and having to start right away as freshmen, you know, there's some growing pains with that. And they've kind of navigated that well. They've taken, you know, me being hard on them and kind of coaching them hard very well. And, you know, they've stepped into their roles, and they kind of, you know, bring a dynamic to the team where they're able to, you know, give us some ball handling and give us some scoring and outside shooting, and very versatile players that can play multiple positions. And you know, they've kind of came in and fit in well with the rest of our team, and you know, just kind of expect them to, you know, be able to operate like veteran players, and hopefully as they navigate through the season, by the end of the season, they're not playing like freshmen, but playing like, you know, veteran kids, and bring a lot of poise and basketball IQ. So, you know, kind of coach them like they're seniors, and just try to be consistent with them. And I think they add a unique dynamic to our team, and looking forward to them being a part.
Yeah, and you talk about the guard play that they do bring, and having to replace production like Harmony Sullivan and Hudson Cloninger from last year.
Sure.
How do you feel that they will be able to step up, and is there anyone else that also will be able to kind of fill in that role without missing a step?
Right. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you know, it's hard to replace a Harmony and a Hudson and what they brought to the table. I mean, both of them were not only great offensive players, but really were hard-nosed defensive players that locked in on usually the best players from the other team. And so as much as we miss their offensive firepower, we really miss their defensive presence out there. And so, you know, it's hard to ask anybody to step in and replace that, because, I mean, I don't know that you can, but I think rather than any one person stepping into those roles, it's kind of going to be a multiple thing. I do feel like in some facets we're anywhere from 8 to 10 deep at times, and so it may be that multiple people replace that that we lost from those seniors that you mentioned. But I really feel like, you know, that we've got a versatile team that's interchangeable. We're really working on people being able to play several positions. You got kids like Hannah Hall, who really can play anywhere from the 1 through the 5, and same with Kennedy. She's very versatile in what she does. Riley Jalen as well. Kara Hotel's a sophomore that's really stepped up big for us this year, and she's a very versatile player too, super athletic and fast. So we're not what you would say big, but not really small. We're kind of that in-between team that has interchangeable pieces, that's very athletic and capable of playing multiple positions. So I think we'll look a little different in that regards, but can get production out of numerous kids and present matchup problems in that way.
Yeah, and something that I talked to Coach Cusick about last year, he said that I really liked, is he defines success differently through each year. This year, having a good year last year, how do you kind of define success this year, and is it any different than any other season?
Right. Well, I think, you know, the standard answer from every coach is, you know, you want to be in the state tournament, you know. And obviously that's everybody's goal at the beginning of the year, but that's not necessarily how I look at it. I think, you know, success is defined as being at a place come postseason where you're playing your best basketball. And obviously that looks different for every team. But I think as we navigate through the season, you know, there's going to be some growing pains. Like, you know, we scrimmaged last night, and the outcome was what we wanted, but how we got there at times wasn't always the way we wanted to do it. And I think, you know, we just got to learn to be consistent, learn how to play together, and learn how to really be great on the defensive side of the ball. And I think, you know, when we're good defensively, then we're going to have a chance to be a pretty good team. And so, but we just got to learn how to do that for 4 quarters and not just in stretches. So I think for us, success this year is going to be defined as, can we learn how to be a great defensive team, night in and night out, and generate offense with our defense. And I think if we can get to that place, then we'll be playing our best basketball come February and March. And if we can do that, then we'll have a shot. Like, we'll be one of those teams that's got as good a shot as anybody of going to Murfreesboro and participating in a state tournament. And so I think, outside of sitting here saying, well, our goal's to make it to the state, our goal's really to be playing our best come postseason. And if we do that, then we'll give ourselves every chance to do, what we want to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned the growing pains of the beginning of a season, and only have been practicing for a week and a half
Right.
or so now. In the off season, like workouts, and then this first week and a half of practice, what areas have you been trying to improve on the most?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to try to connect the dots from where we left off in the summer to now. And, you have that huge layoff in between. It's just the way TSSAA sets up the calendar, but you practice in June and you go play team camps, and you get to a point at the end of the summer where you really feel like you're playing well, and then it's like all of a sudden you have this huge layoff, and you go July, August, September, October, and then you come back and start practicing again in November. So we're just really trying to connect the dots and remember, the things that we were doing, and be able to go back and execute that well. And then when we get to a place where we feel like we're good with that, start adding, to that, to where we, kind of have a little bigger arsenal in terms of our offensive sets, and be a little more dynamic in terms of what we're trying to do defensively. So I think the biggest thing right now is in these first few weeks, just try to connect the dots between where you left off in the summer and where we are now, and get to a place where you feel like, by Christmas time, January, whatever, you can start adding to that a little bit.
Yeah, and I know myself, and probably the rest of Morristown has no doubt that you will connect those dots and find your rhythm, because your girls basketball has been the most consistent program at East, and probably in Morristown over the last few years. Over that time, what's the culture been like, and how have the girls kind of kept it up without you having to get on them about that?
Right. Well, I think I've been very fortunate since I've been here to have some really good kids who bought into a style of play and a thought process about what allows us to be successful. And we really talk a lot about our pace of play here, and we try to really control the pace of the game when we have the ball in our hands by playing super fast and super quick. We really feel like that's something we work on consistently, to the point that we can do it in a way that makes it hard on our opponents to maintain that for 32 minutes. And then on top of that, really, a tough physicality that we want to bring to the defensive side of the ball. And I thought, our kids have bought into that here. And I think it's something that has allowed us to have success and maybe be different than some of the teams that we play on a regular basis. Everybody has to have what they would say is their niche that makes them different than their opponents. And for us, it's not going to be our size. It may not always be our athleticism, but it can be our style of play and our physicality. And so I think our kids have bought into that. And as we, bring kids through the program, and as they get to be seniors and leaders, I think they've all done a great job of teaching the new kids that come in that that's what we do here. And I think that's really helped our culture to grow, and helped us to develop a program, like you said, that's had some consistency, and it's certainly what we want to maintain going forward.
Yeah, and East has certainly never been a school known for big basketball teams and athletic basketball teams, but they kind of always find a way here and there to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So, with your team, knowing, we're not going to be the biggest out there, we're not going to be the fastest, probably not the strongest, but, we feel like we're going to be able to compete because of what we do the best.
Right.
What kind of is their mindset going into this season?
I think, there's really 5 things we try to focus on and that we kind of, talk about all the time. And one of that is, as far as offensively, we just want to play unselfish, make sure that we're sharing the basketball and that that everybody's pace of play makes it really hard on the other team to guard them. And I think if you watch us play, people are not going to be wowed by like a bunch of sets or a bunch of play calls or anything like that, but we really just try to give our kids freedom to play in space and teach them how to play in space and how to read the defense. And one of the things that we always say is that the defense is always wrong if you make them be. And so we really try to focus on teaching kids how to read defenses versus being robots that are on train tracks, that run a bunch of sets that, you go here, you go here, you go here. Rather than that, we just want them to play the game and have the freedom to play in space and play fast. So I think for us, the buy-in to that and the buy-in to get yourselves in shape to be able to do that for 32 minutes, because that's taxing on the body physically. Obviously, you got to be in better shape than your opponent. So I think there's a lot of buy-in to that, and like you said, that's what makes us different, and we just really have to buy into what makes us different and gives us a chance to compete with teams who may be bigger, stronger, more athletic than us, but yet we're going to be different because of what we do. And then on the other side of that, just like I said, defensive intensity, and leave no regrets out there. When you come back in this locker room, win, lose, whatever, know that you left it all out there, and we can walk out of this locker room with no regrets in terms of did we give our best effort that night.
Yeah, and the pace of play is big, and not having all those sets and plays, like you said, telling your kids, you have to be this spot, go here.
Right.
With the freedom of playing fast and having those sets comes an opportunity to not play solo ball, but
right.
have those chances to shine and have your moments. Who's been somebody that's kind of unexpectedly stepped up and blossomed into somebody who's maybe you weren't expecting to, or you thought they would, but it's kind of happened a little bit earlier than you?
Sure. Well, one for sure is, like I said, sophomore Kara Hotel. She didn't play a ton last year. As far as varsity goes, very little minutes. Obviously, was a strong JV player for us last year, but she's really stepped into a role this year. Coming off the bench as kind of our sixth man most of the time, and has really shown sparks of being a very, very physical player. Like I said, super fast, gets up and down the floor, well, and out on the break really well. She had a stretch last night in her scrimmage where I think she scored about 20 points off the break in like 5 minutes, just getting out ahead of the defense and making layups, So she's really, really shown, a ton of potential, and very pleased with her efforts throughout the summer and so far in the early into this season. Really like what Jalen Valentine's doing for us right now as a senior, a kid who's never really been in a starting role. She's played a ton for us in varsity coming off the bench in a supporting role, but this is really her first opportunity to start and kind of be a consistent starter, and it's done a super job so far with that, and really been a versatile player, playing whether it's the 2, the 3, the 1, even times running to the rim as our forward person, and just willing to do whatever we ask of her. She's grown a lot defensively too, which has been kind of one of her grow areas as she's come through the program, learning how to be great not only on the ball but off the ball, and she's grown a lot in that area, and so really pleased with what she's doing for us. Hannah Riley, always consistent in what they do, and they've both had a ton of experience starting, and then been really pleased with our 2 freshmen, what they're doing so far. Like I said, not easy to come in and have to start right away as a freshman and be thrust out there against girls that are older than you, and in some cases, stronger, more physical than you, and their skill level has shown, and they're doing a great job for us. Davina Cruz has come in as a sophomore and done some good things. Big, strong kid who, you know, has a lot of promise. And so really it's not just really any one person, but just kind of pleased with everybody being able to adapt to changes in role versus what they've done in the past. And then a lot of new kids being able to step in and do good things when given the opportunity.
Yeah, and you know, it's never a bad thing to have so many people to kind of overshoot, you know, your expectations that you have going into the season. So just coming up this year, the season starts in about a week. What is just your general message to this team before the season?
I think, you know, just you know, let's focus on what we can control. You know, last night, just thinking off the top of my head, there's a couple of instances where we had to talk about, hey, listen, we can't control the whistle. You know, what the refs blow the whistle and call, like we can't get wrapped up in that. So just play, you know, control the things that you can control, and let's focus on those, and let's forget about the fans, let's forget about the referees, let's forget about all those outside distractions and things that we can't control, and focus on what we practice every day and what we can control between the lines when given that opportunity. So I think control the controllables, just work on being a little better every day. Let's make sure that tomorrow is better than today, take no steps backwards, and just consistently grow throughout the season to make sure that, you know, ultimately, like I said, we're playing our best come postseason.
All right, well, that's all I've got this week for you, Coach, and thank you.
All right, thanks, Brice. Appreciate it.
Yep.